What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray back for another installment of Great Area Anime. Sorry for leaving you guys so long, but secure your withdrawals from my anime discussions. I've got a discussion about curing anime withdrawals. And what brought this up is last week, Dragon Ball Super didn't have an episode. And I had a couple of friends that didn't know that there wasn't going to be an episode that week. And so, as I'm somebody who frequently watches anime, I'm kind of in tune when they're going to take breaks. I mean, majority of the people that I watch and keep in tune with kind of tell you these things because they let you know in their various magazines and stuff over in Japan. So if you don't know, it's no knock on you. It's just, you have to find the information in certain places. So I'm here to kind of help that transition and kind of understand things that you can do and ways you can just kind of be aware. For instance, if you hear anything about Golden Week or anything of that nature, then your favorite anime and or manga is probably about to take a week off. That's holiday season or holiday weeks for them, religious holiday weeks for them, that they take off to enjoy their holidays. So you normally can't expect anime then. But step one to curing your anime withdrawal would be reading the manga. Oh, excuse me. Let me get my camera to focus on me. Me here. Focus. Focus on me. There we go. But anyway, is to read the manga. Majority of the times when I start an anime, I check to see if it has a manga. And majority of the time I only do this because that'll tell me one of two things. It'll tell me either how long the anime may run, or it'll tell me if this is a standalone anime by itself, something that's created by somebody, and I can't really judge or tell how many episodes they're going to be because it's completely absent of a story that was built outside of it, or it's outside of having source material. So keeping that in mind, first step again is reading manga. It helps in a lot of different ways. So if you see that it does have a manga, then you can see how long it's been running. So if it's like 100 or 15 or 20 chapters, or now majority of the time it has to be about I want to say at least 70 to 100 chapters. And that's at least about a year of publication. And animes can get animes in their first year publication. It just depends on their popularity, so on and so forth. So I would start there by saying how long the manga has been running. And what this determines is if you start watching the anime and you're reading the manga alongside it, you can see where they're going, where they're going to have pauses, if they're going to continue through certain arcs or so on and so forth. And you can kind of see what changes have been made. What you to do is know when, so say it's a popular manga, i.e. One Piece. The things that you can tell from this are everything that's canon and everything that's not. You can quickly discern episodes that are spoilers, or not spoilers, but fillers, excuse me. So what you'll do there is, if you're watching and it's like, I don't know that I really want to watch this, or this episode doesn't seem to have anything to do with the intense situations that were just happening in the previous episode or at the end of this fight, then you can kind of go ahead and choose whether or not you just want to watch them and enjoy them or skip them. Majority of the time they do this because they're trying to give the manga more time to give them more source material to animate. If they're getting too close, then it kind of just runs together because you have to have source material to animate. So it gives you that kind of understanding and allows you to be ahead of the game of knowing kind of what's going to happen. I enjoy it personally because I read manga and then I'm just able to see the things that I enjoy animated and certain parts of it expounded upon. Because even with the panels, things that you sometimes can't quite discern, depending upon the artist's way of drawing motion and so on and so forth. Time moves a little differently if you're reading the panels in a certain way. So it gives you a great illustration. So that's why I personally enjoy reading first and then kind of going back and seeing what's animated. Another thing that curing your anime withdrawals can happen again is starting by reading. Most people who are diving into anime just kind of watch whatever they want to watch, and they get into a withdrawal that Game of Thrones fans are going through right now, where it's not coming back till 2019. And with a lot of animes that come on, your fun doesn't necessarily have to stop, because you can go and read the manga and see kind of like where they're going to go. You can see character development. You can see the story in a more detailed form. Whereas the anime, depending upon its popularity, might run the same animations for like 10 or 15 minutes of the show. And that's not really something that, helps you. It's just they didn't have a lot that they were going to do in that episode, or not a lot of time to expound upon things in the way that they wanted to. But manga doesn't do that for you. So you're able to kind of skip those things, or those animation blips, if you will. Another way of kind of curing it is just reading or finding standalone anime. So again, ones that don't come with the manga. If it doesn't come with the manga, you're able to just watch it to your heart's content and already know that this is either going to be a short run of 13 episodes, is going to just be an anime that doesn't come attached with something, and I can just watch it and enjoy the adrenaline of waiting for what's going to happen next or where they're going to go with it. Also, another phenomenon that typically happens with popular animes that were sequels to things that they kind of liked on TV, Dragon Ball Super. Like right now, Dragon Ball Super, the manga is behind the anime, which is something that rarely happens, but it can happen from time to time, depending upon the popularity of said anime. Dragon Ball Super, what's happening now is all of the episodes that are out have not been printed in manga form, but the manga is coming through and kind of deeply explaining the things that they didn't either have time or hadn't really thought about in the construction of the anime. So it gives you a little bit of background there to kind of sharpen the character development, sharpen the world, and give you a better view of how things work or how certain mechanics are placed in front of you. Again, keeping in track with they translate just about everything. So if there's a monthly magazine over there, it always pays to read those as well, because it'll get you ahead of the game and kind of knowing when there's going to be a pause. Having a rotating anime schedule for yourself. So if you're only watching Dragon Ball Super, that kind of puts you in a bad place. So finding similar shonen animes to watch can also help cure your anime withdrawals, because you're still getting fed the same kind of actions and things that you want. You can go back and watch, like if you just started watching anime with Dragon Ball Super, you could go back and watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, which will give you further understandings of where we are now and give you a broader horizon of how the story and characters have grown over time, over these 30 years that they've been out. Kind of helps me is having the differences or a rotating plethora of anime to watch. And even when I'm not watching, at least weekly, I'm reading at least 7 or 8 mangas consistently that have either yet to be animated, so on and so forth. You can also, with animes that have a short run of like 13 episodes. So the season was really great, but it wasn't as popular, or they were just kind of able to wrap stuff up and didn't want to go on to a second season, so on and so forth. You may be able to find novelizations of those animes, i.e. ReZero. It has one season, and I think they're actually about to do it OVA and start season 2. But for a while there, we weren't even guaranteed a season 2, and it's left off very, very early in the story that is currently still going on. So that's another kind of way to kind of curve the withdrawals, is finding the places and finding where you can get the information, finding where you can get the answers to those cliffhangers that are scratching the back of your head and keeping you up. I'm trying to think here, guys. Man, got some more good stuff about curing these anime withdrawals. Another way of curing your anime withdrawals is simply finding other things that the author has done. Majority of the time, these authors have done multiple animes, so on and so forth. So kind of through that will get you back energized. It also takes time to, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Rewatching, that's what I wanted to get to. Rewatching is important and kind of essential because there are a lot of things that you can kind of miss your first time through, especially with One Piece or Naruto or a lot of different things, because they pack so much into the 25 minutes that they're going, that there's a lot of things that kind of go over. So if you gotten up to an episode and you're like, oh man, what's gonna happen next week, trying to go back and trying to like rewatch some things and kind of regain some clarity and maybe go back through some things. Finding similar storylines and stuff, or finding author interviews and stuff like that can also help cure this. But the main thing is watching anime and reading manga, because it gives you the full expanse of information. It allows you to kind of see where they're going to go with it. It allows you to see the things that you're reading come to life. And it's pretty much like, we wish sometimes to see a lot of things brought to life. And it's kind of happening every day now, whether it's a remake of It or The Hunger Games or Divergent, all of these movies that are made from book sources, they do that all the time with anime. So if you're reading an amazing manga, there's majority of the time you can find an anime to go along with it. And so just kind of pairing these aspects of the culture will help you cure your withdrawals. Now, the only thing it can't cure is if you get addicted to manga. Getting caught up on manga can be bad, because then, you know, there's pretty much nowhere to go from there other than like kind of rereading the chapters and stuff like that. But combining these two does help with keeping your interest and keeping it light and keeping it fun. So 3 things, like I said, is finding standalone animes, animes that you can watch that don't come with a manga, reading the manga and going further on and seeing if it has a manga before, and then just rewatching and finding similar things that you can kind of do to energize yourself. But anyway, those are 3 ways of curing your anime withdrawals. I can't wait to do another video for you guys next week about a different anime or manga that I'm watching. Make sure you're down there commenting and talking to me. Like I said, I'll give you all kinds of suggestions if you want any about anything that you might want to watch or read, or anything that you've read. I'd love to hear about that and see some of the things that you guys like. So go down in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for not only gray area anime and manga, but a little bit of my hip hop music and things of that nature. It's just good nature fun. We're going to always have fun over here. So come back again to Gray Area Anime. It's your guy, Icarus Gray. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.